Hey, what is up guys? It's the Michigan Minecrafter back here with another video, and today I'm here showing you guys a really cool Minecraft mod that I've actually been using for a really long time, but I completely forgot about and never ended up making a mod showcase of. So this is kind of a classic Minecraft mod that a lot of people have done videos of for a really long time, and it's called the Archimedes Ship Mod. So what you can do with this mod is, number one, you can make ships that go in the water, and number two, you can make hot air balloons. So I'm going to show you guys both of those. So first of all, Riley and Pippi are both itching. There we go. Clinking their collars all over the place. Anyways, the first thing that I'm going to show you is the ships. So first things first, they give you a couple of building materials that you need to use whenever you're building these types of vehicles. The first thing is a floater. So as you might be able to guess, a floater is part of the boat. And what you need it for is you need it in order to keep your boat floating, which is pretty straightforward. So what you do is you put them on the bottom of the boat, and the great thing about this mod is that these boats can be absolutely massive. Now, I'm not going to be building a huge boat for you guys today, but if you guys are interested, I can go and build a boat some other time that's really big and show you guys what that looks like. But today, I'm going to keep it simple. So let's just make a nice little boat here and try it out. Yeah, so it's really cool how big of boats you can make. I've made like pirate ships and cargo ships and all sorts of really cool stuff. So let's just put a little mast up in the middle here and stick some white what is this again? Oh, wool. Stick some white wool on here as the little sail kind of thing. Now, one thing that's important to keep in mind whenever you're using this mod, and I've made this mistake before, is when you're building really detailed stuff, you want to make sure that all of your blocks are actually attached to the ship or whatever you're making, because you know, sometimes it's really cool to make like kind of pixel art stuff where things are off on an angle like this, or even something like this is not going to stay attached. So you definitely don't want anything like that. So here's our basic little ship right here. Add a little railing to the back, and then we should be all set. Now, because of the fact that I made this sail on the boat, I'm going to put the ship's helm, which is the other really important block, up here at the front. That way I can actually see what the heck I'm doing, because this sail would totally block my view. So the way that this works is, once you've got your ship's helm in place and you've got everything you want set down, which I'm just going to set these two things down and then put some gauges on here. These aren't actually necessary, they're just for decorative purposes, but they're kind of cool. And they actually work too. The little dial hands right here move when you speed up and slow down. But first thing you got to do is right click on the ship helm, and what you can do is you can rename your ship. So let's name this one Tiny Ship, because it's pretty tiny. And then we can assemble the ship, which that just means it's checking to make sure it's not connected to like the land, or making sure it doesn't have too many blocks. Because there is a block limit, as you could probably guess. You couldn't have it too big, otherwise your computer would just lag out. But it's something like 13,000 blocks or something, so it's really huge. But this is only 76 blocks, so we are okay. And I think it's assembled. There we go. And mount ship. Here we go. So if I go into F5 here, you can see what we're working with. I'm sitting in the ship's helm right now, and the way that you control the boat, which I actually really like, is it doesn't matter which way you're looking. You can look all over the place and still steer the boat in the direction you want to go. So you just use the A and D keys, the same keys that you use to walk sideways in normal Minecraft, to steer the boat, and they can actually get going pretty fast. It's impressive. So yeah, that is pretty much all there is to the ships. I don't know what just happened. I accidentally pressed R and I think we got going really fast. But yeah, that is basically how the ships work. I don't think there's anything else I'm forgetting other than when I dock it. And I'll kind of explain how that works. So once I bring the ship over here, then we can get somewhat close to the dock, because these dark bluish grayish blocks over to the side are actually what are these called? Shore buffers, which means that you can park your boat right next to it and it won't get stuck to the shore. Let's turn that off as usual. So toggle downfall happens every mod showcase. There we go. And then if we press K, I think it is. Yep. Then we can click disassemble, and there we go. Our ship is all set. So that's pretty much how the ships work. You do get into some kind of technical stuff when you get bigger, as far as how close you can get to the shore and how deep the water is and stuff. But it's just kind of intuitive stuff that you can easily figure out. But one thing I do want to point out real quick while I'm on the topic of boats is that you can actually do this kind of weird glitch. So if I go into F5 again so we can see what's going on, what you can do is if you pull your boat up to any kind of landmass like the shore or anything, obviously it's going to stop it and it's going to keep it from going any farther forward. But what's interesting is if I hold down the W key and then just kind of wiggle the boat back and forth, it will actually sail into the land. So that's really weird. But yeah, I just kind of found this out from messing around, as you could probably guess. But yeah, you do run into a little bit of glitchiness when it comes to that. But the problem is, if you do something like this, and that's why I'm not getting that far away from the water, is that you actually can't decompile the boat and get back out of it if you are in the land. So yeah, that's kind of an issue. If you get really far inland, then you kind of can't get out of the boat unless you do something. I'm not sure what you could possibly do, but I think I got myself into that situation at one point and managed to get back out of it. But yeah, so that's how that works. And I'm stuck in the boat. Here we go. Come on. What are we doing? Yeah, didn't see that coming. But anyways, let's go try out some airships. So what I'm going to do when I'm building an airship is to make sure that, well, I'm not sure if it'll work. I think it will work even if I have stuff touching these shore buffers, so I guess I'll just put it on there. But hopefully it'll work. If it doesn't, then I can just break the bottom layer and build it up another layer. But let's put some decorations on here because we don't want it to look too simple for the mod showcase. Still want it to look cool. But if we go, where is it? I think it's in the decorations. No, it's in one of these tabs that all of the ship stuff is in. Which one is it in? Oh, there it is. Oh, that makes sense. It's in the transportation tab. But anyways, let's grab some glitch name blocks. Okay, it looks like all of these are working except for my favorite color. So that's interesting, but we can work with it. So let's start putting these on. So as you might guess, just by having looked at the other versions of this block, these are balloons. So what I'm going to make right now is a hot air balloon, but you can make crazy stuff like airplanes and anything you can think of that really flies, but it's kind of meant more for making things like zeppelins and hot air balloons and that kind of stuff. So that's just what I'm going to do. It's not going to be very good looking, just because I'm doing it as fast as I can. I know it's gonna be kind of geometric, but we can work with it. There we go. And put a little finishing layer on top, and then let's make it come out a little bit farther, just to make it vaguely resemble a hot air balloon. There we go. That's not too bad. Alright. And just finish these last two sides here, and then we can take off in this thing. So, interestingly enough, you still need to use the ship's helm for this, which, I mean, it makes sense that they didn't just make two different blocks between the airships and the normal ships, but so that's what we got to do. So let's put our ship's helm right there, and I think that should work. So let's get into it. Assemble ship. Yeah, so it tells you all the information about your ship here. This is 116 blocks. It's interesting that it has the mass of the ship. I wonder if that changes based on what kind of blocks you use, or if that's just kind of based on how many you use. I'd be interested in kind of messing around with that to see. But then we got, so 94 air balloons, which is 81%, and I think it has to be over 50%. No, probably not 50%. Maybe it's different for airships versus normal ships, but yeah, there's a certain percentage that you have to meet, otherwise it won't fly, and in a ship's case, that means it sinks to the bottom. So let's assemble the ship and mount the ship. Here we go. Let's go into F5 again. Alright, here we go. Let's see if these shore buffers actually work the way I expect them to. So the way that you control the airship as far as going up and down goes is you actually use, what is it? Oh, it's X and Z. So right now I'm pressing X to go up, and I can press Z to go back down. Yep, thank goodness I remember that. I haven't actually looked at the wiki page in a while. But then you just use your normal controls to go in different directions, which is kind of weird when you think about it, like that it turns like that in air. It's not really how it works in real life, I don't think. I've never been in a hot air balloon before, but yeah, so that's pretty cool. This would definitely be helpful in like a modded survival kind of situation, as far as like I think you can put chests and stuff in these too. So if you made a really big ship and you filled it with chests, then you could potentially just bring it everywhere you go, I think. And then that would save you the trouble of building like a minecart track with like minecarts with chests in them and all that kind of stuff. So if I go and press K again, then I can click Align and Disassemble, which spawns it in midair, which could be an issue in a survival situation, but I suppose if you're only a couple blocks off the ground, then it's probably not that big of a deal. But just to finish off the mod showcase, I'll go through and look at the other blocks that the mod has to offer. So just a couple extra things. So right here we have a steam engine, which I think makes ships and stuff go faster, but it felt like it went pretty fast to begin with. This might just apply to really big ships, because I'm not completely sure how all the physics work with this mod. And then one thing that I really like about this mod is the fact that it's actually multiplayer compatible. So if you take these seats and you set them down on your ship or whatever, oh, there we go. If you set them down on your ship, then if your friends right-click on the seats and get into them, then you can bring them along for the ride, which I think is really cool. Because I kind of, when I first saw somebody do a showcase on this mod, I was like, how do you have other people with it? Because when you turn the ships into something that moves around, when you assemble it or whatever, it turns into an entity, so you can just walk through it if you're somebody else, the same way you could walk through like sheep and stuff. So that's kind of weird. But again, if your friends like right click on the seat or whatever, hold on. How do I need to have a different thing in my hand in order to right click on it? No? Alright. Well, I'll figure that out some other time. But yeah, so if you have friends on a server with you and you want to play on this mod, then that's how you do it. And I'd actually really like to see, I don't know if you guys who didn't necessarily come to the live stream watched the live stream highlights and saw that we're actually planning on doing a survival server for tribes after this season of Tribes is done. So maybe I'll suggest this mod to them. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for the mod, guys. If you really like this mod, definitely be sure to leave a like in the comments below. And I will see all of you guys in the next video.